As the temperature rises on the left, so does hypocrisy. Take this new survey. 40% of young Americans say violence against the rich is sometimes justified. Funny, because as the left crowned accused murderer Luigi Mangione as their new martyr, I guess they overlooked the fact that his family, Mangione's family, is considered Baltimore royalty and sitting on a real estate empire. And who could forget that Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, the heir to the billion-dollar Hyatt hotel chain. But when he's not getting even richer at the blackjack table, Pritzker spends his time going after federal agents. And the temperature is only getting hotter inside the Democrat Party. Take Texas Representative Jolanda Jones, who has her own idea on how to deal with Republicans.
I'm from the hood, okay? So when a bully comes, like, if there are no rules, you literally have to figure it out. So Donald Trump has changed things, and people trying to do what's always been done is not going to work. And I think that's why Democrats are losing black people. That's why they're losing poor people, because poor people, all they want is for us to fight. So if you hit me in my face, I'm not going to punch you back in your face. I'm going to go across your neck.
All right, go across your neck. I spoke with former Obama fundraiser Don Peebles here on set yesterday. Here's our conversation. Don, great to see you in Dallas.
Good to be here.
Jolanda Jones, James Carville, Grant Plattner, the voices that are the loudest right now within your party from the left can't be voices that you wake up every morning and nod your head with in pride.
No, absolutely not. They are indicative of the civil war that's taking place within the Democratic Party. These people think that they are the party of resistance instead of the party of results. And that is why many, many voters have rejected the Democratic candidates now. And that is why Donald Trump is president, because Democrats moved to the center because they were terrified of these far left resistant leaders.
What does that mean then for the future? It seems, although you and I might agree this is not a place of great pride for the left, it is the place of great energy for the left. It is the politicians who are getting the most attention. It is, even in the case of some of the more extreme examples when it comes to policy, like New York City and Zohran Mamdani, or for that matter, Grant Plattner, who's running for Senate in Maine, beyond his own controversy. He is a very far left, policy-oriented guy. It seems those are the candidates gaining real traction in the modern left.
Well, they're getting it in the Democratic primaries because the Democratic Party is losing moderate voters. And so those who turn out for these primaries tend to be on the left side. But if you look around the country and you look at New York City and you look at other places now, the Democratic Party is going to be concentrated into cities like New York City or states like California, cities like Los Angeles. And
where winning a primary is like winning the general election. So Democrats will be represented in places where they're shoe-ins in the general and they fight it out in the primary?
Yes, but the party is on its way, I believe, to becoming a long-term minority party nationally, because the vast majority of the country isn't seeing it that way. I mean, New York City spent $7 billion housing illegal migrants at the expense of hardworking, struggling New Yorkers. And so, unfortunately, the voters look at that and say we need to shift policies further to the left, but it was the left that caused it in the first place. And it'll take a while for places like New York to decline further before there's a shift.
A long-term national minority party. That's quite a statement to hear from you. Christopher Hitchens famously said, you know, I wake up every day and ask questions about God and nobody cares. But if the Pope woke up one morning and said, I'm not sure about this God thing, it would be national news. Me saying that I do think we're considering here, we might be watching the end of a political party. The decline of the Democrat Party is one thing, but to hear it from you is another. And in my lifetime, in your lifetime, there's only been really two political parties that have dominated the landscape in America. We can go back further and we can find the Whigs, but What does that mean then if one of the two major political parties in America virtually dies?
Well, if you think about it, we came close to this as Democrats before, which is why I'm surprised at Jim Carville, because it wasn't until, you had 2 terms of Reagan had turned the country around. You had 1 term of Herbert Walker Bush. Had it not been for Ross Perot, we'd have had 2 terms of George Herbert Walker Bush. It was Bill Clinton and the Democratic Leadership Council, moderate, centrist Democrats, who came to the rescue and saved the party, and that was Bill Clinton. And Bill Clinton today would be a Republican. He would not be a Democrat. John Kennedy would probably be a Republican today as well. And so what's happening is that the party is leaving these people and leaving moderates, and there will be a fight for the Democratic Party, but it's going to be a few more election losses, and the Republicans are going to have to do things wrong in order to switch this tide. And I don't see that happening for a while. I think Donald Trump has moved the country in a different direction in terms of America first, Americans first, and that has resonated with a large number of voters.
All right, Don Peebles, fascinating to hear from you today. Thank you for being here with us in Dallas.
Absolutely. Great to be here.
Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.